Now,
gonna get cake and shit, man. I'm not time for that. Battery on Z.
receiving content.
Oh my god.
I got two more batteries. Get away. Go. Go.
Battery Aziz.
Alrighty.
Battery Aziz.
All right. Microphone check 1 2. What is this? The 5-footer stepping with the roughneck business. I float like gravity. All right, there we go. Video output. No, not enough.
Battery Aziz.
Buffering.
Yes, man. Even from alone, no matter who it is, the anger is still on.
All right, there we go. Alright, let's close that guy. And let's hit that. Okay, looks like we are rolling. Alright, so here's what I'm gonna do, man. Since we are letting people come in to the show, I'm just going to go ahead and start this Colin Kaepernick thing. This is what I wanted to start it off with in the beginning, just to check a few minutes of that out, just so we can get the gist of what he's saying and what's happening. And then from there, we'll go in and talk about just the differences of as far as what he's doing, why he's doing it. Then we're going to talk about the NFL boycott, give our thoughts on that. And then also, I wanted us to discuss how this whole thing impacts us as a people, the black community, all of that kind of stuff. So I just basically wanted to get this first little part out of this video. This is fair use. We are doing commentary on it just so everybody can get a gist of what exactly he's saying and why he's doing what he's doing. So let's go ahead and do that. And while we're doing that, you guys can post this link. I'm going to put the link up so everybody can post it up on their page and we can get going from there. Cool. Cool. It's going to come to you on Facebook. I'm going to put it on my Facebook. All right. Ba-bam, pow, boom. Can you guys hear that? Can you all hear that?
A little bit.
Let me turn it up some. Okay, I can turn it up.
So you say you are letting people join us or what?
Yeah, I'm about to send you the link in 1 second. I just want to get this guy going. Is that better? Is that better? Can y'all hear that?
I can barely hear.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
No, I'm talking about can you hear the Colin Kaepernick?
Now I can.
I can hear it.
And
I can hear it.
something that's evolved. And as I've gained more knowledge about
It'll be
what's
fine.
going on in this country in the past, what's going on currently, these aren't new situations. This isn't new ground. It's things that have gone on in this country for years and years and have never been addressed, and they need to be.
Will you continue, Colin, to sit? Will you continue to sit?
Yes, I'll continue to sit. I'm going to continue to stand with the people that are being oppressed. To me, this is something that has to change. And when there's significant change, and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent, and this country is representing people the way it's supposed to, I'll stand.
Hang on for a second, Byron. We can hear you.
Hello?
There's a lot of things
We can hear you.
We can hear you, just can't see you.
Police brutality. There's people being murdered unjustly and not being held accountable. Cops are getting paid leave for killing people. That's not right. That's not right by anyone's standards. I have great respect for men and women that have fought for this country. I have family, I have friends that have gone and fought for this country. And they fight for freedom. They fight for the people. They fight for liberty and justice for everyone. And that's not happening. I mean, people are dying in vain because this country isn't holding their end of the bargain as far as, giving freedom and justice and liberty to everybody.
I just
It's
posted it on
something
my
that's not
Facebook,
happening.
guys.
And I've seen videos, I've seen circumstances where men and women that have been in the military have come back and been treated unjustly by the country they fought for and have been murdered by the country they fought for on our land. That's not right.
Colin, did you personally
There have been situations where I feel like I've been ill treated, yes, but this stand wasn't for me. This stand wasn't because I feel like I'm being put down uh, in any kind of way. This is because I'm seeing things happen to people that don't have a voice, people that don't have a platform to talk and have their voices heard and affect change. So I'm in a position where I can do that, and I'm going to do that for people that can't.
Is this the first year that you haven't stood up? Did you do it other years, or is this the first time?
This year's the first year that I've done this.
You did all three games so far?
Yes, yes.
How did your teammates respond when you explained yourself today, and what was the support like for you?
The support I've got from my teammates has been great. You know, I think a lot of my teammates come from areas where this might be a situation. Their families might be put in this situation. It's something that I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, you know, I really respect you for what you're doing and what you're standing for. So, to me, that's something that I know when I'm doing what's right, and I know other people see what I'm doing is right. It's something that we have to come together, we have to unite, we have to unify, and make a change.
What do you say to the people that say, hey, you're doing the right thing, but you're going about it the wrong way?
I don't understand how it's the wrong way. To me, this is a freedom that we're allowed in this country. And going back to the military thing, it's a freedom that men and women that have fought for this country have given me this opportunity by the contributions they have made. So I don't see it as going about it the wrong way. This is something that has to be said. It has to be brought to the forefront of everyone's attention. And when that's done, I think people can realize what the situation is and then really affect change.
You've done it every preseason game. Are you almost relieved that this game and the questioning that followed to let your voice be heard?
It wasn't something that I really planned as far as it blowing up. It was something that I personally decided I just can't stand for what this represents right now. It's not right. And the fact that it has blown up like this, I think is a good
Did the cold drop out?
No, it brings awareness.
Yes,
Everybody
so you
knows
get
what's
home.
going on, and this sheds more light on it. Now, I think people are really talking about it, having conversations about how to make change, what's really going on in this country, and we can move forward.
That said,
What was that? As far as what? I don't really understand what you're trying to get at.
Murdered by police, and you think that seems sort of an indictment against police?
There is police brutality. People of color have been targeted by police, so that's a large part of it. And they're government officials. They're put in place by the government, so that's something that this country has to change. There's things we can do to, hold them more accountable, make those standards higher. You have people that practice law and are lawyers and go to school for 8 years, but you can become a cop in 6 months and don't have to have the same amount of training as a cosmetologist. That's insane. I mean, someone that's holding a curling iron has more education and more training than people that have a gun and are going out on the street to protect us.
Okay. So there is about another 12 minutes of that. I think we pretty much gotten the gist of what he was saying. So I'm going to basically just close that guy out real quick here. And hopefully that should get us going. Yeah.
I'm getting some feedback from somebody's TV.
So that's what I was just about to say too, because I heard that, but I didn't want to stop the tape. I mean the video. So if y'all get anything on in the background, video, games, this actual broadcast or anything like that, you gotta mute it, turn it off, whatever the case may be, so we won't get no type of reverb or anything or no feedback, so everybody can sound loud and clear. Other than that, like I said before, everybody had a chance to talk. I pretty much wanted to just go over a couple of things first, and then hear what you guys got to say about it. So, the whole protest thing, as far as what Colin Kaepernick is doing, I titled the broadcast basically Colin Kaepernick, the next Rosa Parks or Johnny Kemp. Everybody know who Johnny Kemp is, right? Just got paid Friday night, one hit wonder, right? A jam to this day when it come on at a certain party with enough old folks, you put that on and you gonna get everybody on the dance floor, especially if it's Friday and you just got paid. Reason why I titled it that was because I hear a lot of different protests and I hear a lot of different movements that's going on, and at the end of the day, is it something that's just a particular protest for the flavor of the month type of thing? Is it something that where it's actually trying to affect change, or is there a goal in sight? I think that a lot of times we've gotten so complacent with protesting, marching, and having sit downs or sit outs or whatever you want to call it. I think it becomes a point to where it's gotten to be kind of like comical, or it's gotten to be where people don't really pay really much attention to it aside from the media aspect, because we never like truly get anywhere to any end. Reason why I brought that up as far as the Rosa Parks piece is that Rosa Parks, you know, and Emmett Till, they sparked an entire movement in a totally different time and era to where they brought about change, essentially. May not have been the best change for us, but it was change nonetheless. So it's like there was some type of documented movement and change in laws and protocol and how things are done, you know, because of that. So there was an entire piece of that, and it wasn't just marching. There was legislature involved, there were politics involved, and all of that, they got that done. And I think we kind of like leave that out, and we kind of just focus on the whole fanfare, the cameras and the lights and the social media, the live streams and the FaceTimes, where people can see us actually doing that kind of stuff. But there's no legislation involved, there's no politics involved to support that, to where you bring about actual change. So that was one of my biggest things about it. So I believe that first and foremost, he has a right to protest just like every American does. Everybody that is here on this green earth, that is in America, it is your born right to have a protest. I think that I respect the way that he did decide to protest about his situation. The fact that he protested and it was something that was just as simple as, hey, taking a knee or whatever the case may be, I think that was his right, and that's something that he should be able to do. The only thing I think about as far as what he did is, I guess the only disagreement that I have, or the issue that I may have with it, is that I think he wasn't prepared, because there's a huge difference between bringing about awareness and then bringing about change. So one of the things he's actually talking about is just awareness. You can make everybody aware. We're all aware of the homeless in America. We're all aware of the starvation across the globe. But to actually bring about change, what do you do, or what do you put in place to do that? I think that was one of the things he wasn't really prepared for. He just did something, and it kind of like snowballed or just took off, and he really didn't have a plan with it. The other thing that I think is that I think that his protest, essentially, like a lot of others that we see going on, I don't think that they will necessarily bring about change. I think they're only going to get attention. So I think they're going to get a lot of likes, a lot of shares, a lot of news coverage until something else bigger happens. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's exactly what I think is going to be the end result to all of this. I don't see any type of legislation being changed. I don't see any type of true change coming about as far as how things will be done in the future. I also think that the protest that he did was on the wrong stage, because the NFL doesn't have an effect on what politics and what the actual legislation does. They have no control over that. They are just a large stage with a lot of people watching, and I think he used that, but he used it and didn't have a plan. So I think that was kind of like the wrong thing to do, because you kind of like ruined that platform for other people to come along to do something like that actually will have a plan. Because the next time somebody else does it, if somebody else does it, because of the way he was shunned and blackballed, it was because there was no backing. It was because there was no plan. There were no other people that were ready to go the distance with him. So the NFL had that position to where they could ice him out, just like they did Craig Hodges. You know what I'm saying? It was the same thing because you just did something on your own. You kind of like tried to take on a $750 billion organization with just a whim. And I think that kind of set you up for failure in that instance. So that's pretty much just my 2 cents of my little monologue for what I wanted to say right now about where I was coming from with that. That was kind of like what I wanted to say on when Bert actually brought this up on Facebook. But I didn't want to type all that stuff out, so that's why we are here. And I want to just thank everybody for coming. I want to introduce everybody. Whenever you get a chance, if we want to go in order or go down the line and just say, hey, who you are and where you from and why you're here, I think we can do that. And then I think you guys can, go ahead and give your opinions, and we can have a very good, productive conversation. And let's bring forth some logic. Let's bring forth some truth and facts. And we can talk about all the other good stuff in between, but definitely let's make sure that we basing it on that, so that what we saying is just making sense as opposed to it being something where we just in our feelings, I guess. So whoever want to go first, go ahead, jump right in.
Well, I'm Bert. I'm the one I put the post up on my page a couple of times. I asked 2 different questions, and I was just asking people why they were boycotting the NFL. And my opinion is just to, tap on what you said. I don't think Kaepernick was boycotting the NFL or was taking on the NFL. Just use their stage, their platform to protest. And once the owners and the fans got upset, the NFL felt they had to react to it. And I think it did a downward spiral on his point, because he was trying to do something entirely different. I don't think he was trying to upset the people in the NFL, upset Americans. He was just expressing himself on a national platform, and people got upset because people really feel, I don't have lack of a better word, they feel offended when you don't respect the flag as to respecting the flag as far as standing and placing your hand over your heart, and facing the flag. People are really offended by that aspect. I support Kaepernick 100% in what he's doing. I love him for it because he's doing it for our people, for my people. You know what I'm saying? I just don't agree with everybody saying, yeah, we're going to boycott the NFL. That wasn't his purpose. His purpose was to bring awareness to a situation about police brutality in the black neighborhoods. And I was just saying, why are we boycotting the NFL instead of boycotting Coke, Pepsi, Target, Walmart, and all these other places until something is done about police brutality?
Okay.
Well, I want to jump in after Bert and kind of piggyback off what he said. And I completely agree that.
Well, wait, first, who are you?
It's
wait, first of all, who are you and why you here? Who are you and why you here? Yeah, go ahead, but introduce yourself. Yeah.
My name is Roman. And I'm just like I said, I was just piggybacking off of what Bert said. I think Colin Kaepernick, what he's doing right now is definitely necessary for African Americans to know, regardless of your status, if you are a celebrity football player or you're somebody that works at McDonald's. If you feel that there's a wrong that is being done, you need to speak out about it. You just can't say, "Oh well, I'm a representative for the NFL, and my job being an NFL is to represent this company in the greatest light. So if there's a wrong that I feel that's is happening, I'm just going to keep my mouth closed because I don't want to represent this corporation that I'm working for." When the message that he's putting out there is so much more bigger than the NFL that he's playing for, that I think this stage that he took was a perfect opportunity for him to get his message out. Because if he did that after the game, with the media the way it is, only a few hundred people would ever heard his message. He took the opportunity to make his stand in front of millions and millions of people. And that stand blew up to not just also being in the NFL. There were people on high school teams that did this. There were people in the soccer who did this. People in basketball did this. Everybody took a stand for this message that Colin Kaepernick started off, and it's just kind of like what you said about his like he's like the new Rosa Parks. Like he took this opportunity to say, you know what, I'm not gonna be unheard. I'm not gonna be silent. I'm gonna take this opportunity to speak out, and my actions are going to be speak louder than my words would, and it actually it has done that. Now boycotting the NFL as a whole, I think that's a little bit much. Like I said, I don't think that was his mission to just boycott the NFL, but this chance for him to get this message out to the world, I think that's is very positive for him to do.
I guess I'll go next. My name is Eric, and I'm here because I like to hear different perspectives. I like to gain a different perspective on situations. I feel like it's a learning process for myself and others. And really, what I gather from the whole thing and just listening to Roman and Bird and everyone else that I've spoken to about the actual issue, I don't think anyone has an issue with Colin Kaepernick protesting. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue comes into play is when you say something like boycotting the NFL as a whole. And I think social media has a lot to play with these types of things. And when people make these decisions to do these types of things, that's a big part of that. And I think that comparing what's going on now to something that happened 60 years ago with Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, or Rosa Parks, like Brian mentioned earlier, is a completely different platform. It's completely different. The whole playing field is different, and the game is changed. It's not the same. And if you want to do something to make a change, you have to be strategic and logical in your thinking. I mean, he did a great job, increasing the awareness of the situation. But I honestly think that boycotting the NFL is not where we start. And anyone who's ever had a conversation with me, they'll always hear me say, I feel like we're putting, the carriage before the horse. It's so many other things that need to be addressed before we start talking about boycotting something like the NFL. Like Bert said, there's mega corporations that need to be boycotted on our behalf for things that we are, treated unfairly or unjust. And we just look over those things. And I kind of feel like as people, we kind of ride the wave of what's important. So, like, that's a hot thing. A hot thing right now is Colin Kaepernick doing that. So everyone's riding that wave and they're not paying attention to what's really important. And to me, just to say things like that, it kind of makes you just look at that individual and think, do you really understand what's going on? Or do you really understand what's at stake here and what needs to be done in order for us to be treated fairly? And boycotting the NFL isn't going to get a law changed. It isn't going to get police officers more training. It isn't going to get those tools that are needed into the hands of the right people, which are the police who are supposed to protect us. So I think that, a lot of us, we need to look at the bigger picture. And when you say that, just think about what you're saying and what the bigger issue is. And I can guarantee you not one person can tell me that boycotting the NFL is like going to be like the saving grace. It's not the same. And don't compare that to someone like a Rosa Parks or Martin Luther King in that manner. It's not the same thing.
Well, it's Terrell. Indeed, y'all know my opinion. Like I said, he I don't think he meant to boycott the NFL. That wasn't his purpose when he started out. The boycott came after they started blackballing him, and folks was like, "Well, if you're gonna blackball him for using his First Amendment right, you know what I'm saying? Which that's his right. That is his right. He protested peacefully. He didn't try to bring attention to himself. He stood in the corner, kneeled, and wasn't bothering nobody. Right now, you got everybody. You got all the owners and certain players saying he disrespecting the flag and this and that and the other. The thing of it is, if we go on the street, we're a bunch of thugs. If we protest in the street, we're a bunch of thugs and shit like that. He didn't tear up nothing. He didn't destroy nobody's property. He didn't disrespect nobody. And my problem with other black people is that was his protest and people decided to boycott. But people have a problem with other people boycotting for what? First of all, you don't know what change it might bring. We don't know what's gonna come out of this. We really don't. So for you to say it ain't gonna change this, it ain't gonna change that, we don't know that. That's just your opinion. But the thing up and there is a lot of other things that we can boycott, but we starting somewhere, and that's good enough for me. We starting somewhere. You could boycott. I mean, there's so many companies. Walmart, number one, they really need to be flushed down the toilet by black folk. It's countless corporations that need to be boycotted. But like I said, if we starting somewhere, and if somebody don't want to watch the NFL for this, that's their right. And again, like I said, we don't know where this might go. As you can see, it's picking up steam. The New York police department, a lot of those guys, they behind him. You see more and more players getting behind him and stuff like that. So for you to say what it's not going to bring, how can you say that with a clear conscience? How can you be so sure they ain't going to bring nothing?
Well, the reason why I say that is because you think about all of the other protests that we've had. If you remember, was it last Christmas or the Christmas before last, when everybody in Chicago, because of that kid that got shot 14 times?
Nicole McDonald?
Yeah. The kid that got shot 14 times by the police. Everybody took to the streets the day after Thanksgiving, and they was going to shut down the system in Chicago by not shopping on Michigan Avenue. So, I mean, there were literally thousands of people downtown on Michigan Avenue, like one of the busiest shopping times of the year, and they were shutting it down because of this kid getting killed by the police, and he got shot 14 times. Right? So that was a protest that they did. They were protesting the fact that the police officer used excessive force, or whatever the case may be, and they were just tired of the police brutality and being mistreated by the police, and the matter that he was. So they did all of that, and there's been no change about that. It was on the news, and it was hot for that whole little holiday season of what they did, but it didn't bring about any change. There's no legislation. There was no prosecution. There have been no laws established because of that. And changing.
Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why it is? Because they chose to protest that one day. Protest is not going to bring change.
I was going to get to that.
One day.
I was just going to get to that. So there was none of that stuff that was changed. And then again, as soon as everybody had to go back to work, it was over with and done. So that's what I mean by you saying like you just doing, and they were literally doing just what you're saying about Colin Kaepernick. They were just doing something, and they didn't have a plan. They didn't have any type of political backing. They didn't have any type of legislation. If you can't, just let me finish.
Say this is a bigger stadium right
just
now,
let me finish. That's exactly what I'm about to get to. If you don't have any type of political agenda, and you don't have any type of plan to bring about changing in laws, if you don't have those two things in place, everything that you're doing is just going to be fanfare. Because at the end of the day, he's on a tremendous platform right now. And everybody's talking about it. I get that 100%. And everybody's talking about the different ideas, what he could have did, what he should have did. He should have did it this way. That's all in hindsight. But at the end of the day, what he's trying to actually bring awareness about, which is what he said, and what he wants to change, there is nothing in place to do that. Because right now, people are talking more about him getting a job than they are about brutality in the community.
And that's my point.
That just shows you how the whole skew, how the whole focus has been shifted over to something totally. We're talking about a dude that has a 39 million. He just got $39 million, and we are more concerned about him getting a job than what he was bringing awareness about for. Because at the end of the day, that dude sleeps, eats better than all of us. But we riding and we putting on t-shirts and we blacking out our jerseys for something that is left from the initial point of view, which was awareness about police brutality and how our people are being treated in the community. So how do we get there?
And my thing is, what happens when Kaepernick does get signed? Is the protest over? Is everything okay? The NFL is cool now. Man, that's a good thing. I mean, so we through protesting? Is police brutality going to stop because Kaepernick is signed to a team? No. And I'm saying boycotting the NFL is not going to bring about change about the police brutality. Now, we want to get together and boycott? Yeah, let's boycott. But boycotting the
I,
NFL because
I,
Kaepernick ain't got no job, it ain't gonna help us.
I think
Yeah, we
yes,
can hear you.
Nicole, we can hear you. Okay, I think to piggyback on what you said, Bert, I think we're missing the bigger picture here. Nobody's saying that what he's doing he shouldn't be doing it. What black people don't understand is that we always 10 steps behind when everything we do is 10 steps behind, man. The platform has changed. Nothing's getting ready to change because Colin Kaepernick, if you believe that, that's preposterous. It's crazy. It's outlandish. It's not going to change because he's protesting something in the NFL. Even when Dr. Martin Luther King was marching and all the other civil rights movements was going on, they did things on the back end that they don't talk about. It was more than just protesting and getting, watered down with hoses. It was more than that. Black people knew more. We were better educated back then, and we knew how to act versus what we have now. Everything it revolves around media. Everything revolves around drama, and the media, social media aspect brings that to you. Nobody's really trying to do that. It's the same thing with the Black Lives Matter movement. A Jewish man started that, and it's like it doesn't even make sense. Who do you see backing that organization up that's really about something? Backing that organization up. It's not because that's not how it works. We don't have anyone right now that's actually up to the task of doing that job. You got Reverend Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, who only show up to get a paycheck, and Reverend Al Sharpton taking selfies in the mirror. So I mean, at the end of the day, when you really put the whole thing together, we so far behind, and I feel Terrell. I understand what he's saying because he's passionate about that. He feels the pain, and he's a little older than me, so he knows that. But the point is, we have to change the game. If we want to get something done, it's going to be more than protesting. We need to pool this money together. We need to pool the resources together, and make that happen. It's not going to happen with a protest. If it was that easy, we'd have done it years ago. We would have been shooting
Let me tell you
years ago.
something. Let me tell you.
Here's the
I'm
thing.
tell you something. I'm doing all this
Here's the
on.
thing. What Easy just said, like, it's more than just. I mean, yeah, we are. It's more than just the protesting of the NFL. And the fact is that the NFL is making an example out of Colin Kaepernick to say, don't any of you guys ever get out of line and embarrass our organization, because if you do, this is what's going to happen to you. So now everybody's all afraid, like, oh my God, if I protest how I feel about what's going on in society and I put it out on this platform, then I'm going to get my hand slapped by the NFL by not being able to get a job. So the thing is like we should come together in solidarity to say, hey, look, we're not going to allow you to blackball one of our own because he decided to step out and commit a message out there to everybody to say, like, this is what's going on in the world. I need to speak this out to everybody to know that I'm affected by it as well as everybody else is affected by it. But for him to be blackballed like he is, that's a problem.
Absolutely.
I just want to say one thing to add to that before everybody has just a small thing. Isn't that the case with everything? When you don't own anything, how can you have a say? We don't own shit. So how we gonna have a say in something But time out. Wait a minute.
We didn't own the bus company.
Wait a minute.
Rosa Parks decided to say, you know what? I'm not going to sit in the back of the bus anymore. I'm going to sit in the front.
Listen.
Okay, hold on. Wait. Hold it. When we do that, we can't hear each other. So what we need to do is you need to let one person talk. The one person that talks, don't do a long monologue so that the other person can talk. So just wait 1 second. If you want to put your finger up or something and say hold on so you can be next, that's cool. So go ahead, Terrell. Go ahead, because I knew you was about to say something before you got cut off. So go ahead.
I just don't understand how black folks criticize other black folks for what they want to protest. That don't make sense to me. It don't. It do not. What Roman said was absolutely correct. I just don't get it. Instead of letting them protest, motherfuckers want to sit around and say how and when he should do it. That don't make sense to me. Let the man protest. Let the black people protest. At least they stand up for something. God damn.
Okay, go ahead,
That's
Nicole.
my point.
Hold on, wait, hold on. All right, go ahead, Nicole. Make sure you tell everybody who you are and why you're here, and then go ahead and say what you got to say, because don't nobody know you.
What you mean? Everybody here know me.
This is broadcasted live on YouTube.
Wait. It's not just us 4 people?
No, it's not.
On Facebook Live and YouTube.
Okay, let's put this out. I need to hold on. Let me put my head down. I'm gonna come back. back so I can say it.
God damn. Here we go.
Boy,
There
I
it
feel you,
is.
man.
Let me say
Hey,
this.
so
Let me
hold
chime
it.
in.
Hold on.
Let
Go
me chime
ahead,
in.
Bert, and then I'm gonna come after Bert.
Let me
I want to
chime
go after
in.
you.
Doobie, I feel you, man. And I'm not upset that black people protested. But what I'm saying is that if Kaepernick get a job, then everybody gonna be cool with it.
But you don't know that though, Bert.
Cool.
Let's see. Let it play out though. You not
Okay.
listen. You got some people. I agree with you. Some people own that. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Just like you got a small percentage of people that's you got a small percentage of people that's cheating welfare.
Right.
Anytime you get a big group and it's trying to control, somebody gonna cut corners somewhere. I agree with you, but there's a lot of good people that's doing it for a good reason, and they're doing it for the right reasons.
And I understand you
So
to
you
finish
can't
what I was
paint
saying.
everybody with a broad brush.
To finish what I was saying is those of us now you saying let y'all boycott, which is fine. I have no problem with that. I was just asking why. You give me a reason why that's cool. But don't call us as not boycotting coons, sellouts,
I would never do that.
Uncle Tom's, not
I would
you.
never do
A
that.
lot of people
But a bunch of
do.
individuals are
Yeah.
upset because we're not joining in. One young lady asked me, "What are you doing watching the NFL?" Because I like football. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I'm not supporting what you all are boycotting.
So
And that's
here's
It's
my
like
thing.
everything, Bert. It's like everything. You gonna get, like I said, you gonna get those people on both sides, man. It's gonna be like that.
Here's
You
my
understand
thing.
what I'm saying?
Here's my thing, Terrell. You are right. A man should be able to protest whatever he wants to protest. However, if you protesting on somebody else's platform, then you open yourself up because it's public. It's out in the public. So anybody can say whatever they want to say about it. It's not about you putting them down. It's about you being able to say whatever you want. Because at the end of the day, the fact that he's protesting, he's not protesting saying, I don't want nobody to support what I'm doing. I just want to do it because I just want to bring about awareness. He wants to bring about change. He wants the people to get involved, which is why he's taking a stand on a platform like a professional football game. If he was just protesting on his own and he did it in front of his house, then you're right. I wouldn't say a thing about it. But he's on a national television show while a sports game is going on in front of hundreds of thousands of people and millions of people watching. We all got a right to say something about it. May not be what he like or what he don't like, but we can say whatever we want to say about it because he's doing it in that public platform and it ain't his. Now, if he had his own sports league and it was the Kaepernick league and he was doing his thing that way and he wanted to protest about whatever, absolutely. You doing this on somebody else's shit, and then when they say, you know what, we don't want no part of that, and we gonna blackball you for doing it, now you want everybody in the world to get involved and say, oh, we need to all take a stance for it. And that in itself is why I said he made a bad move because he didn't have all his ducks in a row.
But he didn't.
Wait, hold on a second. He didn't.
Hold on, Shona. But yet the NFL doesn't blackball drug abusers,
Absolutely.
white beaters,
Women beaters.
you know, all these other football players with these long laundry lists
Rapists.
of
You gotta
criminal
forget.
records.
Don't forget
allowed to be
rapists.
able to play in the NFL, but this man takes a knee doing the national anthem, and he's the bad guy.
It's,
I don't. That part I don't understand.
It started.
And not only on top of that, some of y'all can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Some of y'all favorite players are the ones that Roman just named, right? Some of y'all, the drug dealers, the women beaters, as long as they get on that goddamn field and win for y'all team, y'all good with it. Now, like I said, Colin, I honestly don't believe he thought he would come to all of this. Like I said, people started boycotting on their own because they seen how the owners were doing him, and people just decided, oh, so that man he expressed his First Amendment right, and this the way y'all gonna do him. So people just started boycotting. I don't think I never heard him say he wanted people to boycott the NFL. I never heard that come out of his mouth.
He did.
I never heard him say that.
It did.
So what I'm saying is black people and some white people decided, this is not right what they doing to this man. And my problem with black folks, because other black folks want to boycott this shit, here you got the fringe over here. Well, maybe you should no, let them do their thing, man. Let them do their thing and leave them alone. I'm not gonna criticize none of y'all for watching NFL. I don't care if y'all watch NFL. You ain't gonna be a coon because you watch NFL. In my book, you can watch whatever the hell you want, but I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do for my reasons. It ain't got shit to do with social media, Facebook, Twitter, none of that.
Okay,
Ain't got
go
nothing
ahead.
to do with none of that.
Let's hear from Nicole. Go ahead, and you got to turn your camera on if you want everybody to see your head down.
Okay, hold on. All right, so I got you. I'm gonna get you next time, but I'm still driving, so I got 5 more minutes, and I got you. I'm coming. I'm trying to get there. I'm speedboating. Y'all speeding. I can show y'all my camera.
Don't, man. Just get there safely, please. We don't need you to have no accident trying to get on live so everybody can see your hair.
I'm trying to get home like 2 minutes.
We got plenty of time to see the Yaki or the Remy, whatever you want to show us. Don't worry about it.
Well, let me say this. Okay, Kaepernick, his job is what? He plays football, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this, Doobie. If you owned a McDonald's and you had a kid coming there and he wanted to wear a swastika wristband and he wanted to wear a white power watch, and every time a black person came to the counter, he gonna take a knee. I'm not gonna serve black people. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna fire his ass.
Exactly. Now my thing is,
but you compare.
Hold on. Wait a minute, guys. Hold on. Y'all can't jump on it just because he put out a great question. Let him finish his question and then let Terrell respond.
My point is, yes, he did it, and I love that he did it on TV, national TV. Now, once he got the attention for it, I feel he should have took it to another level and started doing it on TV outside of just doing it on the football field. You know what I mean? Because he actually works for a team. He's employed by the NFL, and if the NFL is wrong for saying it, the NFL don't want him to do that. He has to stop doing it because that's his job.
Hold on. Let me ask you this.
See, here's the thing.
Let me say one thing, Robert. One thing, real quick. I'll let you talk, Robert. One time. But Bert, was it any work stoppage? No. Was he?
Exactly.
It was no work stoppage, bro. But none.
Exactly.
Work stoppage as far as what? As far as sponsors?
He was kneeling on the sideline. What was he?
What I'm saying is, not the NFL. What I'm saying, I'm not agreeing, but the NFL felt like the sponsors say, if you don't stop him from doing that, I'm pulling out.
Where did you hear that at, Bert?
The sponsors?
I ain't heard that.
Oh, come on, man.
No, man,
you can't compare those two, Bert, because
thank you.
Colin Kaepernick was not taking a knee in the middle of the game. Right. He took it at the national anthem. Him taking a knee did not affect the football game in any way.
Right.
You're absolutely right. But what happens before every NFL game in the NFL?
Thank you. That is a part of the ceremony of a football game. So you can't say that's just like in the Little League World Series, all of the kids get together and say the Little League pledge before the game. That is a part of the ceremony. And that's something that everybody stands up for and everybody does that whole pay homage and respect to. So he's protesting a part of the ceremony of a game. It's just like when the Twin Towers came down and Ray Charles America the Beautiful, that was a pivotal moment in that game because it was at the beginning that everybody was crying saying USA, goddammit, because it was a part of the ceremony.
Wait a minute.
So do you know there's no rules that say you have to stand during the national anthem?
Correct.
There's no rules in the
that is correct.
You have to stand during the national anthem.
That is correct. But it's still a part. What I'm saying is that it's a part of the ceremony. I'm not disputing the fact that it's not something he legally can't do. We're not talking about the legalities of it. We're talking about the attention of it, which is why he's doing it. He's doing it because of the attention that it would get.
Let me say something.
Go ahead, Nicole.
Let let me say something. Like, I just got in the house. Hold on, let me say something. Actually, Bert just said that if the league said they didn't want you to do it, that you shouldn't do it. So that there you are saying, oh, if they want you to stop doing something, then you're supposed to do it. But he didn't go against no rules. He didn't stop any games. He didn't stop anything. He just expressed his First Amendment right. And actually, the anthem just came into play. This wasn't always where they had to stand up and make it patriotic. The
Yeah, but
games of never have always been patriotic.
it's an unspoken rule though. Even though it's your right to do it, it's an unspoken. Wait a minute. It's an unspoken rule because just for the same fact that you saying that he technically didn't have to do that, technically ain't nobody got to give Colin Kaepernick a job, which is why he ain't got one now.
Hold on, but the thing is, they just made this. They just made this thing where you had to stand up and do the anthem. That wasn't in the football games
I
back in
agree
the
with you.
day.
I'm
They
agreeing
just
with you.
did that when they just started that when the Department of Defense gave the NFL money
Right.
to do
You
Okay.
that.
right. You right. You right.
All right.
That just
Yeah.
did not start. So this has
That's
nothing to do with patriotism. This has
it.
nothing to do
It
with
has something.
patriotism.
It's not about patriotism. It's about going along with the rules, whether
Well,
they're
that's
spoken or unspoken. There is a such thing as an unspoken rule. Yes.
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 At
So
this
that's
point,
exactly
it's
what
not
it
about.
is.
Choose to follow,
But wait a
not
minute.
follow.
But wait a minute. Y'all missing. So you're missing the
Thank you,
major point.
Roman.
It's not about an unspoken rule. That's culture, and then whether you want to believe it or not, that's a big piece of fucking culture to the people who run the United States of America. And if you were to say that to any person that has been in the army or served or have family members that done that, they will think of you like the scum of the earth. It is an unspoken rule. That's a major part of the American culture.
Hey,
Period.
yo,
Is the
I'm looking.
national
I can see
anthem.
myself.
Hey,
And
Eric.
I understand what y'all saying, but at the end of the day, they own everything. So the only way you can combat that is for you to be smart and get the job done in a logistic way and not be out here trying to say something. Because, like Bert said, after he get a job, and to my understanding, he was offered a job, and the man turned the job down because it
That's
wasn't
a
what he
lie,
wanted.
man. That's a
Hey,
lie,
I'm
man.
just saying. I don't know. I only
That's a
know what I
lie.
read. I
That
can
don't
only
even
know what
put
I
that
read.
out there, man. You
No,
ain't
that's
read that
All I'm
nowhere.
saying is what I read, bro. I read the man was offered a job. But
at the end. Okay, but look,
outside of that, the point of this whole thing is what happens after he gets a job. We're worried about a rich ass football player when there's people dying in your own neighborhood that the average black person won't tell them on because they family members involved in it. But we worried about whether or not he got a job and he already worth $100 million. That's the problem. I'm not saying we should be mad at him for boycotting. I don't give a fuck. I don't even watch sports.
Man,
I play video games.
the
The
missing the
point
point of the $100 million ain't got nothing
man,
to do with it. It's the
it.
principle of the whole thing, man. The
oh,
money
I
ain't
got
got
you,
nothing
man.
to do with it, man.
okay. So what
That
is the
money ain't got nothing to
principles?
do with
What
that.
what are the principles
Okay.
that what is the principle of
Like
what
I
it
said,
is that?
he got basically told that he couldn't enforce his First Amendment right peacefully. And that's what
Yeah.
as long as you can protest and freedom of speech peacefully. That's what he did.
Yeah, but you
That's
can't.
exactly what he did.
What they're saying and what they're saying, and the part that I think you leaving out is that they say you can't do that here. That's what they're
And
saying.
why?
So
Why is that?
just like Bert brought up
You at
that, just
work.
like Bert
You at
brought up
work.
exactly. Bert brought up the example of
You getting paid to be here.
the white supremacist working at McDonald's.
He ain't hindering the game at all, bro.
Just listen. You talking about the white supremacists at McDonald's, just like the KKK that go to work every day. They don't do that at their job. They do that on the weekends. They do that when they take off work. They do that at home. They don't do it at their jobs. Because at the end of the day, your job got a right to support what it wants to. And unless you, if you disagree, hold on, just let me finish. Just let me finish. If you disagree, just let me finish. If you disagree with it, if you disagree with it and you don't like it and it's not right and it's not morally correct, then you need to get your own. It's just morally correct. If that's what you feel. I'm saying whatever your feelings are. That's what you need to do. You need to get your own. Just like when everybody wanted to boycott the Academy Awards. Why do you feel it's your right to make somebody give you something that ain't yours?
It's kind of like what we doing right now. We gonna make somebody get somebody a job because
Ain't
we
nobody
don't like what he doing.
but y'all missing the point. Nobody's trying to make nobody give him a job, bro.
Shut up. Answer me this: if you had an employee that you knew abused alcohol, abused drugs, beat his wife, killed animals, would you continue to hire that employee, or would you fire him?
It depends on what his
Even
job
if they did
was.
that on their free time.
It depends on what his job was. If he's the face, listen, I'm about to explain it to you. If he's the face of my company, no, because it's not gonna look good in the public. However, if he in my goddamn server room in the basement running my servers, I ain't got shit to do with what that man doing in his personal life. Because don't nobody, all the companies that y'all work for, don't nobody know what y'all do when y'all go home. What if I'm at home and I'm looking at pedophilia all night, but I go to work and I do my job? Do I need to get fired?
But shut up. But guess
do
what?
I need to get fired?
Do
I need to get fired?
But shut up.
Do I need to get fired?
Continue to hire him.
I just told you.
I continue to hire him.
I just told you. If he is the face of my company, yes, I would, because it's a bad look for my company. This is business. However,
you have a murderer working in your server room.
Yes, I would. Yes. Yes, I would, because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Wait.
Y'all crazy. How do you know what everybody's doing morally or
Wait. So somebody that commits a crime or does something that people don't find to be correct, they're not allowed. They shouldn't have a job.
They can't work a job. I can't earn a living. I can't earn a living and feed my family because exactly.
Somebody 20 years ago, I don't deserve to get a job. I don't deserve to start my life over. Is that what you said?
That's exactly what they're saying. Based on your logic, that's exactly what you're saying.
I got a question. So if I like to hunt and I like to go out and hunt wild dogs and boar, and it's legal where I'm at, but because I work for a company and they love animal rights,
we ain't talking about that.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Bro,
that's not the same thing. No, it's not.
Hold on. By your logic,
the man is at work. The man is at work.
What about if I murder somebody?
Yes.
And 20 years later I get out of jail and I come to work, I shouldn't be able to get a job.
That's a different circumstance.
He's a murderer.
That's not what we're talking about.
That's not what we're talking about.
Bert.
No. Roman said if he was a murderer,
yes.
If he kidnapped,
exactly.
If he did that, you would still have him working.
I know what Roman meant by it, but I don't think he meant it like say if it was 23rd. I know what he meant by it though.
So if I kill 30 people, that's a serial killer. So you saying a serial killer as opposed to just a person who killed 2 people?
Man, listen.
Is that what you're saying? I'm asking for clarity. Is that what you're saying? Are you saying a serial killer as opposed to just a person who's killed 2 people?
We talking about present day, right? You talking about Colin present day? He kneeled. They basically blackball him. If one of my employees present day murders he murdered somebody, I know about it. He got away with it. No, he wouldn't be on my payroll. Simple as that. No. He wouldn't be in my job.
Okay, so what I'm saying to you is, you mean to tell me that just the fact that you committed murder, there is no other extenuating circumstance. You don't care what he did, you don't care how it happened. The fact is you murdered somebody and you can't work for me, even though what you did has nothing to do with my business.
It has to me, it has to do to what the situation is. If he murdered somebody in self-defense, that's a different story. If he murdered somebody because he got a road rage incident, no, I would not hire that person because how do you know that person won't come into the job and murder you?
And that's what I'm saying.
He decided to snap off because of road rage.
But you're talking about somebody who's paid their debt to society already, right? You're not talking about somebody who just got bodies and ain't been caught.
Wait. You think just because somebody gone to jail, that means that's going to make them automatically stop being a murderer?
I didn't say that. I said you're talking about, I'm asking for clarity. I said you're talking about somebody who has paid his debt to society, right? Whether it was for manslaughter or whether it was for cold-blooded murder, first-degree murder. This person has paid his debt to society, yes or no?
No, because going to jail doesn't guarantee that person won't commit another crime.
Okay,
I mean, repeat
the same thing.
Do you know that's in jail?
Okay, that's what I'm saying. The same thing goes for any other crime then. You don't know what they're ever going to commit a crime again? There's no way for you to judge that or to tell that.
Which is the reason why I wouldn't hire them.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. Come on, man. That's what I'm saying then. That's based on your logic then. Anybody that has done something that is against the law cannot work for you.
No, I don't look at it as.
No. I want to hear Roman's answer. Hold on. I want Roman to answer that.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that has broken the law, anybody that has broken the law cannot work for you in any capacity.
Depending on what it is.
So
depending on what it is.
Okay, so now,
because like you said, there's extenuating circumstances that will play into that decision on whether that person can be hired again.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's what I'm. So if a murderer wanted to just come and clean up your building at night when ain't nobody there and take out your trash just so he can earn a living to feed his family, you're telling me that he can't? Because he might kill again. He might kill again even though nobody's in the building.
Yes.
He killed somebody at 15 years old. He got mixed up in a gang and he did the wrong thing and he fucking killed somebody. Plain and simple. It's no, oh, well, he was molested and he killed his rapist. He was saving an old lady and he killed. No. The dude was a 15-year-old gangbanger. He got mixed up. He just did 30 years. Now he gets out. He's 45 and all he wants to do is take out your fucking garbage and mop your floors at night. And you're saying no because he is a murderer.
I wouldn't say no to that.
No.
Okay,
then. And on top of that, that would not be my decision.
So that's the same thing as what I said, is saying it depends on the position that he was playing. Because that same dude that's working on my servers in a controlled room at night when ain't nobody there, it's the same exact thing. You can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose and be fair.
He was just on the sideline kneeling at the fucking goddamn.
But you missing the point. You missing the point of what we were saying. The point in what we were saying is that you can't go to somebody else's company and do what the fuck you want to do, no matter what it is.
It ain't no rule either.
What do you mean it ain't no rule? It's an unspoken. There's no rule. You are 100% correct. And it ain't no rule.
Hold on,
thank you.
It ain't no rule. I just said if you own the McDonald's. And the dude said, "I'm a kneel when black people come to the register."
My customers,
he's stopping work production.
He's stopping work production. Exactly.
He's stopping work production when he does that. That's a different thing. If Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee during a football play, that would be a problem. This guy you're talking about, Bert, you're saying he's taking a knee every time a black person walks into the establishment, which means he's stopping business.
Okay.
Situation.
Okay.
You can't compare those two together.
You are correct. You correct. I'll concede that. So let me say this. What if that same employee and his friends held a white power rally before your store opened and after your store closed every night? And the news, and it was news media, people FaceTiming and everything there, would you still let him work for you? Being a black McDonald's owner. Why? It's not affecting. It's not affecting your business hours, but it's still affecting the perception of your company. Am I correct?
Because his values are not similar to mine, and he's bringing a bad representation to my business.
Exactly, and that's the same thing. That is the same. Listen. That's the same thing.
So what you're saying is police brutality is not the values of the NFL?
No, that is not it. That is not. No, hold on. That's a great question. That has never been the NFL's political stance. They've never taken a stance against it. The only stance that they've taken against, as far as violence is concerned, recently is the Ray Rice, the brutality thing, the domestic violence thing. All of the. Think about it. Just think about it. All of the other rapes that have gone on. Fucking Ben Roethlisberger has been accused of rape twice, and there has been no campaign against no means no from the NFL. So that's a fact. So they don't take up every single charge. When Mark Chmura, hold on, let me finish. Mark Chmura was with an underage girl. There was no campaign about saying, "Hey, you must be legal. You must be legal to sleep with women." That's what the NFL's stance is. They've never taken that stance. The first one that they did was with Ray Rice because it was actual video footage and it looked so bad. Warren Moon used to beat the shit out of his wife, and they never took a stance against it. That's a fact. So it's like if you're talking about something that's actual, the whole reality of saying it's true and it's not true, that's true. And if it's an unspoken rule, it's an unspoken rule.
They are violating his First Amendment right, flat out. Period. With no, with no impunity, violating his First
We
Amendment
agree
right.
with you,
Period.
Ruby. We agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Not
Yeah, the
disagreeing at
NFL
all.
is wrong. They are completely
Yeah.
wrong.
And so
They are
I don't think he's wrong. I don't think
but
Colin Kaepernick's wrong for nothing. When he,
they have the right to do. That's all.
I don't
They have
think
the right to do that.
why? Well, why? It's no
Because
rule.
it's their company.
And there's no rule
Like
either.
Roman said, if they do that before and after my business is not affecting work stoppage, I don't want this dude in my company because I don't like what he represents. The NFL bogus as hell for that, but they had a right to do that. I'm just saying.
No reason to boycott this shit.
So here's my thing, though. Here's my thing. So when you're talking about making some type of change, and you want to, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Roman.
So do you think if you were the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger got accused twice of rape, and there was evidence of the rape, would you continue to hire him as your quarterback to represent your team and your corporation?
I would say I'm gonna keep it 100, even though it's a loaded question. I'm gonna keep 100, and I'm gonna say me being the owner of the Steelers, the only way that I would get rid of Roethlisberger is if I had a great quarterback coming behind him. Other than that, he gonna play for me.
I just got one question.
I'm telling you, and I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because at the end of the day, if I went through my entire team, like a lot of these owners, if they did that, then half of these players wouldn't be able to play. Because ain't no difference between a rapist. Listen, ain't no difference between a rapist and a child molester. Ain't no difference between a rapist and a murderer. Ain't no difference between somebody that's breaking it. Wait a minute. There's no difference between that. And when you start to do that, then now it's either going to have to be all or none, because at the end of the day, now you're going to get sued if you don't.
But it's more than a notion.
I just got to ask the question. I got one question. What rape did Roethlisberger get convicted for? Which one of the rapes did he go to jail for?
He didn't.
He didn't.
Which one of the rapes did he go to jail for?
That's what I'm saying. We're talking about accusations. No, we're talking about accusations.
Their rules.
Exactly.
You're playing by their rules. If he wasn't convicted, that's why it says that in the court of law, until you are convicted, you are innocent. That's why it says that. Y'all got a lot of emotional shit going on right now. For y'all to be grown men, it's emotional. That is unacceptable. To their standards, the man didn't rape nobody. I don't give a fuck. If he didn't go to jail for it, they couldn't prove it, he didn't rape nobody. You can say what you want. Niggas say Michael Jackson been touching little boys since back in the day. Did he go to jail for it? No, he didn't.
Where you getting emotion from?
Cause you look how you sound, bro. You emotional as hell right now, and I get it.
Man, but they got shit to do with Roethlisberger. They got nothing to do with him, bro.
It do. Roman just said, would you have him on your team?
Am I Roman? Okay,
I'm talking about Roman.
Okay, wait.
He asked the question about Ben Roethlisberger being a rapist. The man was never convicted. Unless he is convicted.
Hold on. Hold it. Time out. Yes, he did. So there was no conviction. Either way. But my question.
If you didn't rape anybody, then why would you settle the case out of court if you know you didn't rape anybody?
It don't matter. It don't even matter if he did or if he didn't, because obviously he gave enough money to where they didn't give a fuck no more. So where's the moral value in that? If I broke the law,
paid money to end this case.
They didn't have to take it. They could have said, "Fuck the money. We want him to go to jail."
Man, exactly.
That's what they. Is that not a fact?
He didn't put himself
in that? Wait a minute. Is that not a fact, Roman? Could both of those people have said, "Fuck the money. I want him to go to jail because what he